Hello, hello, hello.
Hi guys.
Hello, guys. Oh my god. If somebody said my energy was going to get to this pumped level this morning, I would have
I
said
was worried.
because I was almost certain that my energy was going to be off. But God works in mysterious ways, they say.
Yeah. I was about to ask the people to help me beg a background because it feels like our friendship was at the verge of breaking this morning.
Ah, you guys don't want to know. But what I did to start to like because I was like, I can't go through my day with this um mood was I just went for a walk and I just disconnected from my phone. I was just listening to something and I was telling myself, yeah, Eniola is not going to do anything intentionally to annoy me. She's not going to do anything intentionally to make me unhappy. These are some of the things that it's weird. But anyways, this is not the way we usually start the podcast
Yeah.
first.
But I think it actually makes sense because guys, I
The
think
pod
the last two episodes we're talking about is it parent relationship, how you do manage relationships in parents, in your families. And guys, we African parents, there's only so much control that you
that you
have
have
over them. Like what they want
is
is
what they
what they
want.
want. I just have to amend to it. And so that's what led me in a position of annoying evergreen. So it's not my
I see. The thing is, I'm like, I kind of know. Like, I figured I was like, you know what? Like, I mean, she's so good to push her appearance away, last. But there's no way I was still upset that
yeah, fair
the
enough.
old change was happening, and I started to think of how I'm going to have to like rearrange things, move things around. Actually, we had recorded an episode, so guys, I know the last episode
Okay.
was a
Actually, we need to say that, yeah.
yeah. We had recorded the episode and women in tech was shy in the mud because
Honestly,
the episode was not, and the episode was it was a really great episode,
really good one.
but tech problems happened and that
Lord, you
happened.
can see that
So
again.
um
We apologize.
yes, we apologize. We gave you something to listen to, but we were sorry. We
Yeah.
definitely apologize
But
for
we're back. We're back,
that.
guys.
Yeah, we are back. So continue to pray for us that our women in tech business will continue to move because we don't want to be having technical issues like that.
honestly,
Technical
honestly.
issues. It's not good. Well, how are you all doing? How
Yeah.
is everything? And Yola, how are you? This is the first time I'm seeing Yola in a boo boo. I feel like she's finally joined the 30
Oh
plus
God,
gang because I
it's
think
not
this is
even
what they're
long.
wearing.
This one is actually a very short one. I wish I could stand and do like a
Really?
12 for you guys.
But even though I apart from Eniola's traditional wedding, I don't think I've ever seen her on
I,
any.
and I think that this is the only one that you guys will see me. So what actually happened was my mom had brought it and she was like, "Oh, this is nice to try it on." And then I wasn't gonna take it. But then my dad was like, "Oh, we know how you are. You will say yes, you'll collect it, but you're not worried." And I just
Eh?
thought that was from
Fair
nowhere.
enough.
Fair. I didn't know that you guys knew me like this, but I don't like to be predictable, so I'm going to wear it. Unfortunately for me, the day that they gave it to me, I left it behind. So it was like,
Aha.
ah, proving the point.
We cuckoo knew that you were not gonna wait.
So I was like, I'm going to prove a point today. Also, it was cultural day in church today, and I was just like, oh, okay, I
Mm.
might as well just like, and it's so hot, and it has like this.
You see, that's gradually getting you into the group of the boo boo wearers because you're already seeing the advantages. You're like, it's hot, so breeze is blowing from every angle. Continue.
I'll
Next
get you
thing,
one who you will end
no,
up in this group with me. Don't worry.
no,
Before you know,
I'm not wearing boo
don't
boo.
worry. I'll get you this one. I'll get you the code, the matching code. Then
No,
you know
no,
that
no,
it's
no, no,
complete.
no, no, no.
Okay,
If you see me in an African print, best believe is a get either it's a play suit or it's
I've heard
a
you
kimono,
guys.
something.
We'll be back again, and I'll be here to
Guys,
ask this
if you
question.
see me in a boo boo, best believe and you now put a gun to my head, that's why I'm wearing it.
Okay, maybe that's what will have to happen, but she will wear it. That's what I'm saying.
I've already told them ahead of what the situation will be if they see me in a boo boo, so that's
And
fair.
everybody knows I'm not a violent person, so people,
So
like,
who
I'm
is the
sure that at
violent
least
person here?
I'm just saying because I don't like saying I'm putting gun to your head. Where am I going to get gun to start with?
No, but that's not like realistically speaking.
Same,
I'm just
same,
saying,
same. We both know that the bully in this relationship is you. So let's move on.
wow. Ah, okay, fine. You know what? I'm going to accept it because it looks like there's nothing I can do. She has labeled me the bully in this friendship, so it's fine. It's okay. I will accept it. It's all right. No problem. How are you? How are you
Yeah.
doing? How was your week and all that?
My week was okay. Went pretty fast. But it was fine. I don't like the fact that it's really hot. It's really hot these days.
We
And I
need
feel like
to.
I don't have anything that is fitting for the weather enough. And I really wear light things, but it feels like it's not adequate. So it's so
Is
annoying.
it humid type? Is it humid type of hot now, or it's just hot?
It's
Like, is
humid
there?
type of hot.
That's the one I hate. And I'm not gonna lie, I'm grateful that we've not gotten there yet
Oh,
in Canada. Like,
we're there
I'm like,
now.
I when people are saying, is this summer going to actually properly summer? I'm like, just leave it how it is right now, because I'm not even, I don't mind it at all. I can still rock my shorts. There's still cool breeze blowing. There's still rain falling. I'm
Ah,
okay
no
with it.
rain, no.
Wow.
I need that rain. Well, no, I hate UK rain. So I just need
Pick a struggle, dear. Pick a
breeze,
struggle.
breeze with the weather is all I'm
This is
asking
the
for.
time. This is the time where I'm gonna say Canada is one, and UK is zero, because we have a great weather right now, and you guys are like, your own weather is
We'll
like,
be
I don't
back
know.
in July, and then we'll see who will be winning then.
God, a big.
Hmm.
This girl is already drawing the battle line.
Oh
Let this
yes,
weather shame her. Let the weather still be fine when she
my God does
comes.
not shame me, so my God doesn't. Anyways, how have you been? How was your week?
Uh my week was okay. It was quite busy, and my weekend too is busy because I'm taking this course thing, and
Yeah, my
sometimes I
overachiever
don't know.
friend.
Honestly, sometimes I don't know how I pull myself into some situations, but I always feel like I can do everything no matter what.
But you actually can, from this morning's reaction to the change in time, I was just like, anyways, that's how you take everything with vim. You take everything with vim. Even your professional development, like with vim, with so much
I I
passion.
I do feel so, because my manager was telling me as well, like, I doesn't get why I do some things, how I do some things, and it reminded me of how last year, around the time that we're moving, in September, I was packing up. We're moving across different, like, two cities, and I was preparing for an exam that I was going to write, I think this September or early October. So I'd started, like, preparing, taking like online classes, which was a longer version. And at the same time, I was still working on a volunteer activity, all happening at the same time. And like, he's just looking at me like, why do you like to put yourself, like, he literally was telling me, why can't you push this thing to like fall or like winter, when nobody is going to be doing anything, you can't be outside and just enjoy summer. And I'm like, I actually have plans for fall. I have another thing I want to, like, another course I'm planning to take in fall slash winter. So if I don't do this now, and no, I'm not even just that, I feel like, from middle of this month till October, like, I can't put myself in anything extremely too serious. Like, I have
Mm,
to have free time.
fair enough.
So I'm like, let me do this one now, and then post October I can do the other ones that I want to do. But I do
Yeah.
want to do both at the same time. So honestly, guys, sometimes I don't know why I do some of these things, but I've seen that every time I put myself in this kind of situation, I end up coming out of it. I end up doing okay. So it's okay.
Yeah.
It's fine. Last.
So
But yeah, I'm okay. I'm looking forward to a long weekend next weekend.
what's
So
the
we have
celebration?
Canada Day. Canada Day is on July 1st, but it's on a Saturday, so that means we get Monday off. So that's
Oh,
good.
that's nice.
And Tuesday would be 4th of July in the US. So technically speaking, if I were to be working on Tuesday, it wouldn't have been a very busy day as well, because most of, like,
Your
the meetings
clients.
I have, yeah,
Uh,
are usually in the US.
fair.
So guess what? I took the Tuesday off. So I get an extended long weekend, and I'm really knowing myself. I was gonna say I'm hoping I rest, but I know myself. I'm going to end up finding myself doing something. I'm not actually going to be chilling. But we
See, this life is
move.
one. This life is on one. You need to find a balance. Is
We
one.
move. I know myself. Like, it maybe not all through, but I'm going to. I'm going to want to be outside. Last. like at some
Okay.
point. And
Fair
being
enough.
outside is not necessarily a bad thing too. It's just that,
Okay.
yeah. But that's me. I feel like I just rambled. But thanks for listening to my ramblings. Whew.
So, in this hot weather, as we're both wearing blue, what's the vibe today? What are we vibing to today?
I don't know what the vibe is. I honestly don't know. Um, no, mine is not actually blue. Mine is more dark gray.
Okay, if you say so, I'm sure the guys are saying blue, but let's not argue on that. Let's just move
The
on.
vibe is cool vibes, chilled vibes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's what it's gonna
Interesting.
be.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So today, let's talk about resolving conflict since that's
And
what
I
almost
think it's
happened
a
this
fair
morning.
topic for this morning. Yeah,
You
I
didn't even
think
allow
it's
me
a
land.
fair
If I feel
topic.
like you have so much in your mind that you want to say, so
Oh God.
let's lay it
Okay.
on the table.
Yeah, let's roll with it.
Because I
Cool.
feel like this has happened like in almost 2 weeks now with us, and I'm just like,
Oh my God, that's true. You know what they say about, and I might seem like a weird person for believing these, but when they say when things are going fine, don't say anything to jinx it. I feel like maybe we actually jinxed it because, and
from
I
the
think we
last
jinxed
recording
it
that
in
didn't
the last
record.
recording that didn't record because we were comfortably saying, yeah, we've not actually had like any conflict really that we've resolved. And here we are within the space of that 2 weeks, we've had conflicts to resolve, not once, but twice.
I feel so.
No, I think I strongly believe in the thing of not not saying anything to compromise anything running well. Because I remember the last time I also said, oh, and it was on this podcast scene too, that there's never been any conflict really between myself and Babe. And I remember saying to him afterwards, like, I was saying this on the podcast and was like, let's not jinx it. And guess what? That was the jinx.
Okay, so guys, I think we should start with friendships clearly because that seems to be the best way to start. So, I mean, it's good that I'm laughing about it now. So, I don't know if you guys have ever been in a situation where you have these unspoken um expectations where because you think that you know the other person well or the other person knows you well, you just think that, oh, they should already know what you're feeling in the moment and what you're thinking and how that can almost lead to conflict. So I think let me speak from my own perspective. I
Right.
found myself somewhat in that situation where I just assumed that the way I would approach something is how you approached it. And because of the conversations we're having, you were saying something that meant something else, and I was reading it as something else. As I just thought, okay, I mean, it's clear now that's where she stands. So there's no use me trying to even ask directly because what's the use? If somebody has indirectly told you something, I don't know the difference between asking directly because it feels like directly you're just going to get another Ella from the one that you already got starts with. So
And excuse me, guys, she didn't get any Ella in the first instance. She assumed she got an Ella.
we're saying the same thing.
Right.
That's what it read as. It felt like. And without even giving too much details, because let's not wash our linen in
Yes, we
public.
actually shouldn't wash our dirty linen on this podcast because I can imagine these people are going to drag us.
The
So,
dragging will be bad. I'm not ready to be dragged, please. And so I was so overwhelmed with what I had, the meaning of what I had read that was not what actually what it meant. So I even like cried twice. I was looking for different. In fact, I stressed my husband. He probably was already tired of what did not understand to be the case that I thought was the case. Um, the funny thing was when I started the assumption process, he had told me, I think you should ask directly because I think that that's the best way. No, and he was speaking from his own experience of what happened when we visited in April. It was like, this is what happened. You know how I had assumed and I had just asked directly and things changed.
but
I think
you
you should.
didn't learn.
And I just thought, but no, you don't understand. Like, she's my friend. Like, that's exactly what she said. What does that mean to you? What else does that mean to you? Clearly, I don't want to be an imposition. I clearly don't want to make anybody feel uncomfortable or anything. Like, it's not like I'm angry. That's just how I feel. And he kept
Hmm.
saying it. Now, unfortunately for me in that situation, I'm not sure I've told you this. I was speaking to somebody else that, oh, I was just like, oh, these are the plans and this is what I'm feeling. And this person is so much like me. It's not what you think it is. This person is so much like me. And
How did you know
and
I've been trying to figure out who this person will be? You have to tell me
guy,
this off camera.
fine. And I was like, okay, so this is what I thought was going to happen, but it appears that this was happening. So I'm just like trying to figure things out. And she was like, but why do you think that? I was like, oh, this is what I said, and this is the response that I got. She was like, oh, you're so much like me that I get how you're feeling. And I guess that's actually what that meant. I was like, okay, at least it's not only me
But
that
but the
that
actual person does not know that all of these assumptions were
no,
being made.
no, no. So I just felt like, okay, clearly it's not only me that is making up my head. And she had then supported my reason at the time, like, that's how men never understand this. And I thought, exactly, that's what I was feeling. That men never really, because, how else you get what I say? So that kept on, I think, honestly, I don't know if you remember, there was a day that we had a conversation. I was in front of the kitchen, I was maybe cooking, you were also cooking. I don't know. That's how maybe, I don't know how many
Well, we
weeks
have
ago.
so many of those type of calls
True,
anyway,
true,
so
true. So that was that day. I was just like, okay, that's what it means, and that's okay. It's just for me to find a way around it. Now, what made me actually put that call through to you was I was speaking to the person that you now know, and I was like, okay, like I really don't know. I feel very overwhelmed. Like I don't know. What if I sleep and fall? What if something happens? And it's just me. There's nobody there. Like, can I would just say a whole lot of things and a lot of things that were not making sense. I was making sense. You would just say a whole lot, and she was just like, calm down. I
and
think
if you
you.
know Eniola, she tries on this podcast, and I feel like maybe this is she has really tried, but typically Eniola is like a rapper twister. She's so you can imagine when she's overwhelmed and she's talking. Jesus Christ, she's talking at one word per millisecond. Whatever that makes sense. I don't know if it makes sense or not, but she's most likely speaking extremely fast. Okay.
So then I was saying a whole lot of things, and she was just like, "You need to calm down. You need to calm down." And I think you need to ask now because I felt like it was too late into the journey to be asking now. I just thought, okay, a text will be better, which was a mistake because that person told me not to send a text. She told me actually to call. She said, "Do not send a text," and I thought this is already difficult for me. If you guy, like if you actually know me well, you know that asking is something that I find very difficult. And it's interesting that you can even ask them that when we started living together, it was just I would actually need something. I can be broke and I won't be able to ask him for money. Like it's that bad. So I just thought this already the fact that I'm even texting it is already very difficult for me. I can't be on the I imagine calling and just like so didn't well this is what I was actually thinking. This is and I won't be able to make sense. I just thought, just send a text and close your phone and don't open it again. And then whatever happens,
Scraps.
immediately you call me back. I was just like, it's a good thing that I'm going out now, so I don't have to attend to this call. Maybe I'll just, think about it a little bit
She
and
sees
calm down
girl.
a little bit. So that's the story that I know doesn't make sense to a lot of you, but actually it's the story of what happened. So what was going through your mind when you saw the text? Let me start with that.
When I saw the text, I was just like, what? Where is this coming from? Like, that was literally like my reaction. Like, I was just like, plus, why is she writing this question this way? Like, am I overthinking? Because I know I can be an overthinker as well. And I
Hmm.
was just like, um, this doesn't make any sense that she's asking this question. And the way, like, I don't know, maybe it was the way the question was worded, but I was just like, how did we get here? Like, and I remember, I think afterwards, I maybe went downstairs and I read the message to Adimbanjo and I was like, I thought this person is my friend. I don't get why this question is being asked this way. What was like in my head, I was just like, what was she thinking? What is she thinking I'm going to say? Like, plus I don't get it. Like, am I I just felt in my head, all that just started playing is I don't think this girl rates me because why would she be asking me this question?
I know that's what a lot of time my messages get lost in translation, especially when it's something that I don't necessarily know how to. how to put down or how to.
In
So
my
when I
head, I kept looking at it like, me and this girl that we've been friends since God knows
in
when.
my own opinion, I just thought
So
that was like that was me saying things in a very nice way, but not making read too much meaning into it without actually know that carry too
I've
much.
read plenty meaning into it because I was just like, what does this actually mean? And it just brought so many things back in mind. I was just like, first off, this girl doesn't, she looks like she doesn't rate me because if she rates me, this question won't even be asked in this way, or it won't even be asked at all, like in this manner. Like, oh, I feel like it's not making sense to you guys listening to us. But what, like, the summary of the whole thing is, a question was not asked directly, but
Yes.
an assumption was made
Yes.
on, based off of different things that were happening or different things that were
Yeah.
said. But
Mm-hmm.
there was never a direct,
Direct
this is not going to
conversation.
happen. There was no
Yeah.
direct conversation around it. So assumptions
Mm.
were just made. So
Yeah.
I'm thinking a totally different thing. She's thinking something else.
Yes.
Right. But a conversation wasn't had. And I was just like, you know
Mm-hmm.
what? At that point, I was like, I need to actually call you because all this text message, nah. I then called and she was like, oh, I'm going. Which did you think? I can't remember where you say
I
you're
think I
going to.
said I was
She
going to
said
see my
you're going to
parents.
see your parents. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that you call me. And till we spoke, it was just on my mind. I was just like, we need to talk about this because there's clearly something off here.
Yeah.
And I remember that I think when I was writing about it was just like the two of you don't, you clearly don't get yourself. You push better go and talk about whatever you want to talk about because clearly with this message, people don't know what you are doing. And I was just like, actually true. We clearly don't know what we're doing, true, because how did we arrive at this point that we are at right now? So I couldn't wait for her to be back and for us to talk, and then we then spoke about it. I genuinely felt like I was not ready. Like I just felt like is this how tough of a person I am that
So the way you
my
were thinking
own
you were not rated is how I was thinking, oh, I don't want to um I rate
she
you
didn't want to
enough to not
cross
no, I
the
rate you enough to not want to mess up what we have by maybe like you said, maybe crossing a line or
yeah.
pushing. So I was like, I don't want to have to mess up what's already existing by requesting for something that maybe would make you feel uncomfortable, but then you'd be obliged to say, oh yeah, that's fine. So that's what I was coming from.
We're on different spectrums, guys. I was feeling like, wow, I must really be such a bad friend for this person to not feel comfortable to ask me this question. And then she's like, well, I don't want to ask you because I know we have a good thing going and I just don't want to spoil it.
Well, guys, actually, let me ask you: have you ever been in a situation where a friend tells you something about maybe themselves while they're feeling in a situation, and then use that as a basis for how
Maybe I
you?
have, I swear I cannot remember because at that point, like, and you know that I just said, I was like, did I do wrong by just gisting my friend about something that happened to me? So all this assumption, right, was based off of like a gist that I'd given
Yeah.
Elena way back, right? And I was not thinking, who would I gist? If not my best friend, please. Okay, now I've just said my best friend. Now my best friend is now using it to make an assumption about something that we've not even talked about and has not even happened yet between the two of us. But we ended up talking about it, and really, I feel like it was good that we spoke about it. That it
Yeah, I
wasn't via
agree.
text.
Yes.
It was like on a call because
Mm,
my assumption was different from us. We're definitely on
absolutely.
different spectrums,
Yeah.
but eventually, when we spoke about it, we're able to understand each person's perspective
Perspective.
about the situation,
Yeah.
and we moved on from it. And I feel like we know each other a little bit more
Better now.
now.
Yes.
Yeah,
I know
because
how I'll handle that situation differently next time. Definitely.
and it's so funny because I had like a similar conversation with my sister yesterday, and it wasn't because of any conflict or anything, but it was more so how it's very easy for me to make an assumption if a question is not asked or if I'm not aware 100%, like if I'm not told something,
Mm-hmm.
I might just be like, hey, okay, everything is fine. And I was also telling her about the fact that I would rather you ask me
Mm.
And you know, and the way I see it, the way I explain to her is if you have a plan A or you're hoping that this is the plan A and the plan A involves somebody else,
Mm-hmm.
it's better you speak to that somebody
Person,
else
yeah.
and know for a fact that that's no longer going to be
Be a
your
plan.
actual plan. You then have to
Right.
make a plan B. But if you don't speak to that person, you just be there assuming, you just be like,
Mm.
what, maybe if I say it, she just might not. Me, for the type of person that I am, that I'm an overthinker, if I don't say it out, it will be in my head. I'll be like, what if I had asked and she had actually said okay?
So you have a different approach because I would be thinking about it, but I'll be thinking about it as per I thought this person would know me enough to want to, suggest this. Do you see? But
Right.
not in a grudge. Not that I'm holding a grudge. It would just be like I thought that that's what's, and you not saying it for me would just be let's go to plan B already. Like
Hmm.
if if we've already been talking about plan A may potentially happen, plan A may and there's a part to you contributing to plan A and you haven't suggested that this is what I can give you as a plan A. What do you have left? Do you get? I'll just be like, well, if they've been part of the conversation from the beginning and they are not saying anything, maybe that's an indication of where they stand with plan A. That would then require me to go to plan B. Do you see?
And on this point there, I'm going to give Tim Terry a shout out because you had said that he actually told you to have the
Yeah, he
conversation,
did. He
especially
did.
because of other things that had happened before. So tell him I'm saying he did a good one. He did a good one there. But one thing I took away from us having the conversation is how we both know that we're completely different people. And we
Yeah.
say it quite often, but
Mm,
it just made me realize that we are really, really different people, and our approach, like it just
it's
reiterated that
different.
too. Yeah,
Yeah.
our approach to doing things are different as well. And I'd like that we had the conversation. I feel like
Me
we got
too.
to know each other better.
Mm,
And it was good. And I know that I'm typically one of those that running away from confrontation, like I'd rather do anything else than to
face it.
confront someone
Tell me
about
about it.
something. So I feel like because we're both kind of like that,
Yeah.
we run away from confrontation. So it was a difficult conversation for both of us to have.
Oh yes.
But we've had it now, and we can categorically say, yeah, you know what, as best friends, we've had conflict, and yeah, we resolved it. Heaven did
True.
not fall.
You
We
didn't want.
didn't stop talking to each other for a day and say, hey, I'm
Yeah.
obsessed with you, and I'm not. We talked about it,
Mm,
and it
moved
was
on.
fine.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
even this morning, I was just like the same strategies that I think I typically would use um with Adibando, for instance, it's the same thing I think I did. Like I was just like, yeah, you know what? This is beyond any last control. It's
But
apparent.
what I took away from that situation was you knew that it wasn't something that I had done intentionally, especially because it was also last minute that I was informing you.
Yeah.
But then you still expressed how you felt in the moment. So I knew that this clearly wasn't okay with you. You were able to say, this is the actual plans that you have to do afterwards, etc. And I think that's something that I'm generally also learning with people because even before the disagreement that we had, I remember there was a time that Timothy had just moved and I was feeling very uncomfortable about a situation and I was putting myself out of the way. Like it was clearly evident that it wasn't convenient for me, but I just couldn't see that it wasn't convenient for me. And it was like that actually does not make sense. Tell the person that it's not convenient for you, and then whatever happens, you move on. And that's something
Yeah.
that I'm still generally learning. But for me, I think when you express how you felt, I was just like, okay, just thinking of different things that we can try to do in the moment. Just try to like because I knew that it clearly was not convenient for you. The alternative that I was suggesting at a later time would have also stretched me because clearly I had to go out early tomorrow. But it was more about I knew how you were feeling and it was what can we do to move forward.
Right.
That I think was a
And I'm
good
not gonna like if you had noticed, like it was taking me time to send my
oh
messages
yeah.
because I was struggling with, should I say exactly how I'm feeling? Or should I just say, okay, cool, fine, let's just roll with it. But I said to myself that if I didn't say exactly how I was feeling, like it's going to affect the whole of my day. And I
Mm-hmm.
feel like I might not be as free as I typically would with you, like
Mm,
later on, like today or whenever we even do the move the recording
time.
too. Like I
Yeah.
might not like be as free as I typically would
Mm-hmm.
because I'm still holding it to my chest instead of letting it go and just saying
Yeah.
it. Because in my head I
Yeah.
was like, yeah, I mean, I used to say to myself, I'm Kuku and adult. It's not like you can beat me last. If I
Fair.
say what I
Fair.
say, you cannot beat me. And it wasn't like I was saying anything malicious or in
Mm-hmm.
any way. Like it was
Yeah.
just how I was feeling. I was just like, I'm not happy. And that was
Mm-hmm.
exactly how I was. I wasn't happy. But I when I left the house and I was going on work, I was just saying to myself, yeah, it's kind of beyond our control. I mean, you cannot pursue your parents out of your house now. And parents, like you said at the beginning, like they have their ways of doing their things. No matter how you want to do your own thing, they still
Yeah.
have their own ways around it. So I'm glad that I said my mind as well. But like you could tell that I was struggling because
Yeah.
I'll delete some things, I'll type again. I'm like, should I send it? I'll read it again. I'm just like, but this is your friend. What's she going to
Do you
do?
know? And I think that's where we actually have to get. That's the point that we have to get to, where you know that if you send something, I'm not about to start thinking about it in a malicious, or this is what she thinks, or she doesn't like me, or she's been holding. I think we have, and clearly we're not there, which is fine. But we have to get to a no, it's the truth. But we actually have to get to a point where you're like saying it how you're feeling, and we all both know that you've said it, we've moved on from it. What's the next step? Do you understand? And I think
Mm,
generally, with relationship it happens as well. Because I remember also still going back to the conversations with Timitaya when it was away, and when we started living together was absolutely
different.
different. So it was like, you are seeing me now, so I can really mess up now. You will see it. And do I want the do I want you to give me feedback immediately, or do I want you to wait, or how do I approach it? This kind of thing. So I then started to realize that if you do something that I don't like, maybe not in the moment, but after I was saying, I actually didn't like what you said. Maybe you could have said it differently, but I actually didn't like. You apologize, we'll move on, and everybody has moved on. Yeah,
Yeah.
I think that's generally where we would need to get to at some
Yeah.
point.
And I think it's because we've really not like the reason why I feel like maybe for people listening, you might be like, but you people have been friends for quite some time. How come you people are just at this point, like really in your friendship? I feel like the reason why we're still at this baby step with resolving conflicts because we really haven't had conflicts to resolve. Like everything has just been like, straightforward. We kind of just know, okay, we're totally different type of people. We do
Yeah,
our things differently, and we've not like imposed on each other to move the other
I
person to the other side.
I think it's also because we haven't spent too long together. I think when you spend too long together and you fully see somebody, then certain things can lead to conflict. The only
Mm,
reason why this thing even came up is because of what's about to happen. Let's be honest. So
yeah,
that's when you know how some most of the time relationships are easier in long distance. Is how so many friendships, so many families, so many, whatever relationships survived before the pandemic. When people started living together in the pandemic is when people started seeing themselves are like, I didn't know you. This person I'm seeing is not what I thought I knew. And that's when everything becomes
true.
very evident. And that's when you now have to like face the very difficult questions and difficult conversations that you didn't have to
I
have.
have to have
Do-
before.
So
Yeah.
I think that that's why.
No, that makes sense. Because I mean, like we speak quite often. Like I saw one video and I sent it to Anila during the week. It was this video of like best friends, women, like they were on the phone and they were just busy doing all the other
Oh
things in this
God.
life. Like they were actually not really talking. They were just there. The one was cooking. This one was doing the other. And then when I
Yeah.
saw it, I was just like, this is exactly me. We will be talking. I'll put my phone down. I'm cooking. She's cooking. I remember like I'll just be like, oh, I need to blend pepper now. Then you
Mute.
mute it and you blend the pepper and
Yeah. Yeah.
we as much as like we talk quite often, we banter, we talk about the things happening. They've never really been things that has caused conflict really between us. Things have just been
Yeah.
like just
I also think
easy
that we
going.
haven't gotten to the point of dealing with very difficult things. I think that's when the true test of friendship really comes up, when you have to deal with like very difficult things. Maybe somebody is in a very difficult situation, or you would have to deal with a very difficult, because it then tests you to know how you would deal in that situation and how you come out from it. A lot of
Yeah.
people wouldn't survive that. A lot of people wouldn't come out from that. And it's actually being realistic to know that there's only so much that each person can give.
Yeah.
And I think something that somebody has said to me, I don't remember when now, I'd said that friendship generally shouldn't be in a place. I don't know who said it. I know you said something similar, but it's about, if you can't fully go out of your way for somebody that you supposedly call your friend, then why are you guys actually friends?
Friends.
Do you
Yeah. What's the
get
point of the friendship?
right? And it actually sank in my head, because I am always the person of, I don't want to inconvenience you. I don't want to
I
make you
can be
feel,
like that
yeah, I
too.
don't want to make you feel somehow. I don't want to. Is that weird? How I'll be telling my husband, I don't, I can be asking for something as little as 50 pounds. Just be like, it's because of 50 pounds that you're carrying your head up and down. You cannot ask.
Do
It
you know that
doesn't make sense.
that thing? I'm with you on it.
Uh,
But one thing that I've learned is the few times that I've had to do that, it was never like I don't even say the amount. And before I say one, two, three, four, bam, it's done. And I didn't say to myself, so
why was I
it wasn't
stressing
so.
Abba?
So at the end of the day, what was the difficulty now?
Do you know?
What was the point of merry-go-rounding,
I've
like
stressed.
the
See,
overthinking?
I have stressed. I put myself in a very difficult, just because I didn't want to ask, because I just didn't. I don't even know what I thought I would come off as somebody
Did
that
you
is
get?
asking
Wait,
her
okay,
husband.
what's going to happen? Is this what's going to now break the marriage?
Like, is it that it doesn't? Like, most of those things actually make
And you know,
sense.
this thing is what they say about our gender, that you just expect that everybody knows, like the other
What you are
person
going
knows
through.
what's going through your head. And they cannot know unless you actually say it.
Like, it's so bad. I remember even when I wanted to buy my ticket, I was just thinking, oh God, like how do I I didn't see, you see, now it was, let's not get into this matter. We'll be here
Okay,
for a
so we
long
talked
time.
about friendship to an extent. Um, I think, how about, like, dealing with conflicts with family, like with siblings, with parents. How is that like?
I think with siblings, I think siblings own for me is, most of the time I swallow some things, it discomfort that I'm feeling, because my siblings are way older
Way
than I am.
older. Mm.
So, and we don't have a lot of conflict, because, like I said, we're largely in a long distance sort of relationship most of the
Mm.
time. We don't see each other as often as we used to. We're in different phases of our lives. So,
Right.
there's very little that can cause conflict. However, something that has started to happen is where I speak to one other sibling about what I think this other person is has done to me, or how, and just to get a perspective as to, am I overthinking it? There have been situations where maybe one sibling offended me, and I speak to another sibling, and they're like, okay, but you know that that's not how they are. Maybe there's something else going on. That then gives me a different perspective than reacting immediately in the moment.
Mm.
Because you know that with siblings, as with parents, you can't just react and then think that you can all move on. It's I family relationship is very tough. It's tougher than romantic relation. It's very tough. There's a higher level of emotional intelligence that is required.
Very, very,
You have to be very careful as to the things that you're
and
saying. When you're
tactical.
saying, yes,
Yeah.
when you're saying, you have to say enough but not say too much
Too much.
in every situation. So it's finding that balance and understanding that the person that I'm speaking to, I'm not giving you too much information that you can then use it and go and say to the other person, and the other person will not be like, oh, so that's what you thought,
But
and then it just becomes
and
something
then
bigger
it's now become blah.
than what it is. So that in itself is very difficult. With parents, what I do is I isolate them from the larger family, because I
Right.
realize that, I don't know if you find yourself in a situation whereby one sibling does something to a parent, the parent comes to tell you from their own side,
Yeah.
right? I know that their own side is never a true reflection of what actually happened.
Yes.
So I always have to isolate them from the entire situation and see,
And then
how do I deal
okay.
deal with you separate from whatever situation that you're bringing me in. And also with the parents is, give them enough, don't give them too much. Give them enough to know that everything is fine. They still feel that they have some level of control over you. They still feel like they're still the parent.
Mm.
Um, but don't give them enough to feel like they're in charge of your life.
Yes.
That's
Yeah,
what
that
I do.
makes sense. That makes sense. I mean, I feel like as adults, because now I'm thinking about it, the difference between my age and my siblings are not that massive. Like it's just two
Fair.
years between me and my immediate younger sister. So um there isn't that massive, oh my god, this person is way younger than me. I have to speak to them in this way. I think the only person I try to speak to in that kind of manner is the last born. And it's not like she's ridiculously like younger than I
Young.
am as
True.
well.
True.
But as adults, I think growing up, there's always like, don't sing my song, don't do this. But as adults, but as adult, there hasn't been that much of conflict that we're resolving per se. And I think a part of it is also because we're not in each other's faces. Like I'm not with my siblings. Like they're all somewhere.
Yeah.
I'm somewhere else. So I'm not in the day-to-day things happening. So there might be conflicts between the three of them quite often because again they're more in each other's space than it is with me. Um but there hasn't been big issues really that we need to resolve,
Fair. Same.
and that has been fine for the most part. But there are usually instances where, like you said, like something will happen and then my mom will call and say, oh, this is what your sister did, you better talk to your sister. I just listen and I'm like, okay,
Same.
um all right, I'll take it in and then
Mm-hmm.
speak with my sister and just get a point of view as well,
Exactly.
and then we can, from
Find a
getting
way.
both point of view, and then we can then know how to resolve it further, because it's never a good idea to just listen to
I
your
agree.
parents and just take 100% of their own point
What?
of view as
Mm-hmm.
the true point of view. I
True.
need to hear from the other side as well. And I know that with resolving conflicts with like my mom, I remember there was one time that something had happened, and then my sister had spoken to me about it, and I'd then told her that this is a clear thing of boundaries. These are things that you shouldn't do, and these are things that are okay to do. And I get that with that generation, there's things like boundaries are not as firm as we are
True.
saying this is a cut out boundaries. In their own generation, everybody is everybody. There's no they treat everybody the same way. Oh, they are my family. We know each other. We're from the same city. We are from the same tribe. Like they
Yes.
treat everybody the same. There's
Same.
no boundary in saying, this is, you know, person is in church that I met this person, let's stick to this style
Just
of
that.
doing things
Yeah.
with them
Exactly.
and we leave it
Yes.
there. This is a work situation. This is
Mm-hmm.
how we treat it. They don't have anything like that. So, and I just spoken to her, but and I remember she said it recently. She was just like, she does that you put
Gang up
yabbed
again.
me. You people, and I'm just like, I did yab you.
Yeah.
I just caught it. Like I just said it how it is.
Yeah.
And even just between myself and my mom, I've gotten to the point where I'm just like, I'm an adult, last.
There's really nothing
By
can do for me.
myself. Like I know they make the claim that you are my child forever. I can say I can spank you, but
From where?
last as I'm an adult, I
From where?
stay. I stay. You get, so you cannot. I'll save my mind and we move on from it.
Absolutely.
So it's like you said, give them enough information for them to know the high level of what's happening, but
Yeah.
not like 100% of this is how I
Absolutely.
slept today. This and
Yeah.
another reason why, apart from even boundaries, another reason why that is the way to go as well is the way they undo information is totally different. You might just be
Yeah.
saying something in passing, and it might be something that would give them sleepless nights. They might start thinking, she's did this,
Yeah.
and then next thing, I need to do prayer and fast. Oh, I need to do this. So they can easily, things can get quickly escalated with them. So it's better to just give them enough to get by, and we move from
Yeah.
there. But guys,
Okay.
let us know in the comment section if
If
there's
you've
any of this that you can resonate
let
with. How do you manage conflict
how did you
in
deal with
friendship?
it? Yeah.
Yeah.
And how are you navigating the ones that seem quite challenging or new to you at the moment? Like us.
Yeah. Yeah, because that's definitely one thing that we're navigating. And this actually reminded me of part of the reasons why we started this podcast.
Oh
It's navigating
yes.
things
Yes.
and sharing how it is happening with us. While newbies, and clearly we are in this conflict resolution
Oh
thing
yes.
in friendship. So yeah.
All right
Um,
then. Don't forget to like, share,
and
subscribe,
subscribe.
turn off your notification bell, and all the things.
Yeah.
All
All
right.
right.
We'll see you in the
Bye,
next episode.
guys.
Bye.